Today's global pension reform themes topic is complementary private savings and third pillar plans. Many international bodies like the World Bank, the IMF, and the OECD have recently encouraged governments to focus more on minimum social protection basics such as health care and providing a minimum retirement allowance for the elderly. They also suggested that governments should encourage individuals to take more personal responsibility for their retirement savings. Specifically, these entities have suggested that a new emphasis be placed on complementary private savings, such as occupational schemes, or third pillar plans, possibly including a tax advantage to encourage such savings. The question, however, remains whether or not governments can halt their current momentum in other directions and refocus on these types of schemes. The emphasis, for example, in most Asian countries has been to create some sort of centralized provident fund arrangement and make mandatory a level of contribution usually matched in some way by an employer. However, in most cases, the investment is not made into some privatized pension fund selected by the employee, but rather is invested into a vehicle designed by and approved by the government. This is not necessarily a recipe for failure, but it does seem to crowd out innovative ideas from the marketplace. It certainly does not meet the standard of getting the government out of the mix and encouraging private savings. In addition, in the absence of truly privatized defined contribution pension schemes, can governments refrain from somehow short-circuiting the growth of these types of schemes? Although countries such as the US, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, and others have made major commitments to privatized occupational schemes, many countries have not. Central European countries, which had in the last decade introduced second pillar occupational schemes, have, since the recent financial crisis, substantially retreated from these arrangements. Indeed, since in many of these countries contributions had flowed from employee to employer to a government entity and thence to some investment vehicle, it was quite easy for these governments to intercept the contributions and redirect them elsewhere to shore up governmental balance sheets. This wholesale retreat in less than a decade, billed as temporary, but who really knows how long it will last, could not inspire confidence in the citizenry that their government knew what it was doing. If the ideal arrangement is to have a functional Pillar 1 social safety net, as well as a privatized, funded, tax-advantaged Pillar 2 occupational arrangement, supplemented by tax-advantaged third pillar pension savings arrangements, most countries in the world significantly fall short of this ideal model. Certainly in less developed countries, it is almost a bridge too far to expect that these economies can support a minimum social safety net and then offer tax advantages for the other two pillars. They just don't have the money. As to the third pillar, it would seem to me that this can only be effective for that subset of the working population that has taken full advantage of the Pillar 2 occupational arrangements and yet still has enough disposable income left to fund the third pillar savings. It would be nice to think that unemployed citizens would have sufficient income to put into retirement instead of using that for daily living, but this does not seem likely to me. In summary, while one can understand where the experts are coming from, in reality it seems unlikely that we will be achieving anytime soon anything that could resemble the ideal model. Thank you for watching, and please look for other presentations in KMH Global Consulting's series, Global Pension Reform Themes.